Good morning and welcome to Weekends with Whitney. We're here at the site of John Schneider Studios, and he, like 100,000 other South Louisianians, in August saw his life float by. In those rising waters rose something else: bravery, resiliency, tenacity, and music.
Crawled right up out of the swamp. It was a record that had to be done because people have to know that people are paying attention.
How his new music is sweeping the country and instilling awareness. Plus, meet a small-town guy from Louisiana who's made it all the way to the Big Apple, starring at the Metropolitan Opera. I caught up with him giving a special private concert in Baton Rouge. Find out why. Then Dr. Nick on mindfulness and living in the moment. But first, how John Schneider Studios, which is known for making movies, turned into a place for making music.
Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. It's all you never saw, any trouble with the law since the day they was born.
Friday Nights made John Schneider a household name nearly 30 years ago in his role of Bo Duke on the Dukes of Hazzard.
Hang on, cousin. Here's where we say goodbye to Cletus.
I'm a good old boy. You know my mama loved me.
But this New York native traded in the glitz and glamour of Hollywood 3 years ago for a different LA address, Holden, Louisiana. It's here he's built John Schneider Studios, 58 acres of river access, a swamp, a lake, open fields, a baseball field, and a forest. It's a haven for his independent filmmaking and others.
We're telling stories. We're helping people smile or helping people think or cringe or whatever it is. We're helping people feel. You know, we're like the icy plunge after the hot tub. That's what we are. We're the thing that makes you tingle.
He's built a sound stage, a prop and wardrobe warehouse, and post-production work areas. He says it's an efficient, economical, one-stop shop for filmmakers.
I think the traditional Hollywood model certainly is dead.
Here, it's personal.
I don't ever want to give the impression to anyone who works with us that they are one of the many people who work with us, right? I mean, we are individuals, we are individually crafted, we're individually made, we have wonderful individual talents and something to do individually, something to add to the recipe. And I want people to know that that's how we feel about them.
Nothing could drive John away from here, not even raging floodwaters. Like 150,000 other South Louisianians, in August, John's home, his movie studio, this entire area was underwater.
Flood came through that door over there and went out that window over there and out the back door and had water in this room this high. If you'd have told me that there was that much water in this house, which means there was 3 feet more of it in that barn we can see out the back window, I'd say you gotta be smoking something. There's no way in the world that much water came in this house, but it did. I saw it and I still don't believe it.
Yet it's what he saw in others that astounded him most.
People losing everything and people still managing here to not only keep a stiff upper lip about it, but helping other people. It wasn't like they could save their stuff. They were helping other people deal with losing everything they had too. And a terribly tragic, very colorful time that I've never seen anything like. Yeah. I've been through things, everybody's been through things, but real tragedy, real devastation, real acts of God are different. Yeah. You know them right away. You say, this is different.
Everything feels different, right?
Yeah. And how do you deal with it? Well, you have to. You deal with it or you die. period.
Or you sing.
Or you sing.
So John sang and composed with other local songwriters.
We decided, as we had texted these not only photographs but thoughts that were coming to mind about things that we were seeing, about people who'd taken all of their worldly possessions really and put them up on the curb hoping it was higher ground, and then just having all that stuff destroyed. So seeing grandma's chest of drawers with broken up drywall on top of it, next to a refrigerator that doesn't work anymore, next to a sideboard, next to a tricycle. I mean, all these things we saw with an American flag stuck in the middle of it were wonderfully tragic images that we sent to a couple of songwriter friends of ours, talking about somebody fishing in a river where the river never flowed. You know, there wasn't a river there before. Never in the history of rivers has there been a river right there on Highway 190, you know, because it was gone. And there was a river. People going down it in boats. The Cajun Navy birthed and helping people, saving people, and politicians trying to shut them down and regulate heroism. Yeah, I mean, all this stuff was going on in a very short amount of time.
Suitably, the songs were written and recorded in that raw, narrow time frame too.
It didn't happen. I mean, like the flood happened, so the recording needed to happen. Let's not get it perfect, let's get it done. And it feels that way, and not to say that it's not perfect, because it's wonderful, but it has an immediacy about it. It has a feeling about it as if this is something that really truly did just kind of crawl up out of the swamp.
Songs like How Do You Stop the Waters? It's a song that knocks an audience to its knees.
Lord, how do you stop the water?
I think that song's up there with He Stopped Loving Her Today.
He stopped loving her.
Miss Emily's Picture.
I straightened Miss Emily's picture by my bed.
And The Chair.
Well, excuse me, but I think you got my chair.
Yeah, and I remember there was a man in a orange Dukes of Hazzard shirt in the front row, just looking up, and there were just tears rolling.
John's music lets the rest of the world know what we've been through.
Music is a wonderful avenue into people's souls, and it's also a wonderful avenue for which, or through which, your soul can be exhibited for others. They're not just chords, they're not just words, they are, especially with this record, it is the truth. It is our truth of what happened here.
It includes a salute to the Cajun Navy.
We'll be back again with the Cajun Navy.
FEMA gets its own song too.
'Cause we're all flying fingers, everybody, for FEMA.
All are on his new album, Ruffled Skirts. He has a dozen other albums too, many with #1 hits. But this is his first in more than 20 years. Fittingly, it rose from flooding here that before Schneider Studios was home to Camp Singing Waters.
It was an amazing time. Part of me is glad I lived through it, or got to see it, got to have that part of whatever it is inside of us woken up. Don't want to do it again,
All right.
but it brings something out in you.
You can buy any of his new music on his website, johnschneider.com, his Facebook page, or iTunes. And still to come, how this Louisianian has taken the opera world by storm. Then Dr. Nick shows us how to create the here and now as Weekends with Whitney continues.
You see that? That's a trash can. It's a special place where trash goes. Not here, not here, not here. Is that a diaper? You know, the best part about the special place called Trash Can is there's not just one. There are trash cans everywhere. I'm the human dislike button, and I believe in you. I believe in your ability to find a trash can. To learn more about me, go to breck.org/HDB.
Welcome back to Weekends with Whitney. If you're like most people, you don't know a lot about opera, but its history is older than most genres. It started in Italy in the late 16th century. And if you think of it as that music I don't really like, wait till you meet this Louisianian who's taken the opera world to new heights. Arnold Rawls is one of America's best and most powerful tenors. Impressive for a small-town Louisiana guy. How does a guy from West Monroe grow up to be a famous opera singer?
Well, famous is very relative. I grew up singing in the church choir, and all my friends were singers and, you know, playing in the band. And if you know much about West Monroe, we were known for our fabulous high school choir and fabulous high school band. And that kind of got me started.
He'd never even seen an opera until he was in one in college at the University of Louisiana at Monroe.
I got to study with a fabulous Metropolitan Opera soprano singer who happened to be a hometown girl. Her name was Margaret Khalil, and she heard me sing and pronounced then, when I was 18, "One day you'll be an opera singer." And I laughed because I just wanted to be a director of music, a minister of music at a Baptist church. That was my goal. And so I was able to do both of those things. When I graduated school, I was full-time minister of music at a church, but still studied voice, knew that one day I would be a professional singer, and it took a long time because the tenor voice takes a while to mature.
Nearly 30 years later, he's still training and learning.
Because you have to be conversant in, you know, French, Italian, German.
He always knew he'd be a singer, but not at this level. For Arnold, success happened late, in his 30s. That's old for a tenor.
A tenor can be used up and done. It's like a professional athlete. If they don't take care of their voice, like an athlete takes care of his body. I got to a point where I was trying to be this professional singer and it just wasn't working, and my wife said, you know, you need to get a teaching job. We had a 3-year-old child, and it's time for you to get a job. I said, okay. First application I sent out, of course, I get called. It's Moody Bible Institute in Chicago.
It was a good fit because he's also an ordained Southern Baptist minister. Teaching changed his life in ways he never dreamed.
I get there and start teaching other people how to sing, working with them on their technique, working with them to make them a better singer. And within a year or two, my career started taking off. It was crazy. It was like, I mean, I don't want to get too preachy.
No, say it.
It was like if, you know, if I really followed what I was supposed to do with my life, helping others, teaching others, as my Baptist belief said, that God would give me the desires of my heart. That's exactly what happened. And it's all because I gave of myself first, and then it's been given back to me. I know that sounds real preachy.
It's lovely.
But that's the truth.
Yeah.
That's where it is.
Arnold performed at an intimate fundraising dinner in Baton Rouge this week to celebrate Opera Louisiana's 10-year anniversary. director Michael Borowitz says Arnold's one of the best.
The voice is just magnificent. It has been since the very first day, and it's just only gotten better. He's a real devotee of the old school art of singing, which is beauty of sound above everything. It's very Pavarotti. It's very, for the most part, Placido Domingo. And it's wonderful to see somebody like that carrying it on.
Director Leanne Clément says Louisiana has the longest history of opera in America.
Opera has been here since 1796, and that's longer than in New York and in Chicago. Opera was established here because, like everybody knows, Louisiana is accepting of artists and artistry, and they're very open to new things. And at the time, for the U.S., this was very new. Opera was new. And so there are many companies that actually started in New Orleans, and they took touring shows to New York and to Chicago. But opera got its start right in New Orleans. And so that rich history of opera here in the state just makes it so important for us to continue to foster, that artistry right here in the state.
They're celebrating that history and Opera Louisiane's, May 12th at the River Center. If you don't know much about opera, here's a chance to experience it. 8 powerhouse voices will sing with the Baton Rouge Symphony Orchestra and Symphony Chorus.
People are going to come and be overwhelmed by this incredible sound. It's going to make people cry, it's going to make people laugh, it's going to make people want more, is what I think. And so we have tickets at every range because we want everyone to be there.
Arnold says, come see how opera is more than singing.
There's ballet, there's fabulous music, you have the instruments, the voice, great literature, the librettos of the stories. So it's everything combined into one show.
will be performing in Austria June through September, but he will be back in the United States performing at the Metropolitan Opera for its new season, October through mid-November. And still to come, Dr. Nick explores mindfulness and living in the moment as Weekends with Whitney continues.
Maggio, the only way to go. Maggio Buick GMC, your satisfaction's our specialty. We really deliver on Falls River here in New Roads. Small town atmosphere, legendary service for over 60 years. Maggio, the only way to go. The only way to go, that's Maggio.
9-time winner of the prestigious Buick GMC Mark of Excellence Award. There is a lot of buzz right now about mindfulness, about living in the moment. But Dr. Nick is going to tell us something that's really going to shake you up. Good morning.
Whitney, it's called the here and now.
Okay, and the here and now.
Wait, let me give you a quick context if I
Okay.
can. I'm like 27 years old and I'm taking a graduate course in group psychotherapy. And I'm reading this book by Irvin Yalom. Irvin Yalom. I'm telling you, the guru of group psychotherapy. And he says that every group, one of the things that you're wanting to create is the here and now. And I say, what's the here and now? Right. Okay, so you got 6 people in a group. You got one coming in with daddy problems, one coming in with drug problems, one coming in with relational problems with his wife, one coming in can't deal with his sexuality. Okay, so you got these different people with all their histories.
Right.
Okay, but if you're really working it, if the therapist is really working it, they're bringing all those people together into this moment and the relationships that are going on right here in this room. Because in that here and now...
But none of them are there for the relationship in that room.
Exactly. But their behaviors are going to come out. If this person who's not getting along with his father is sarcastic all the time, the sarcastic's going to come out. The behavior is going to come out in that room.
Okay.
And he even might say to one of the group members, if I can get him to, you sure remind me of my father the way you're putting me down. And now we're in the here and now. How can we deal with this? Because he's not your father. How can we work through this right here and now? It's when I meet people sometimes, Whitney, that I don't like, I immediately want to get into, and I don't mean therapy, I want to get into my head or maybe with the person and say, what is it that's going on? I'm just not feeling it.
Yeah, I'm struggling
I
with
need
this.
to get a sense of this because I don't, what's going on right now?
And yet we're never that honest with a new
we don't want to
friend
be.
or a new enemy.
But if we are, that person might say, well, you know, this is just the way I am. I've always been direct and I've always been cynical and I've always been sorry. And I'm like, that's what it is. That's what's clicking me. I have a problem with cynicism. What about the times, you know, I know that I've been sad and painful, and what do?
I try to make
you make me happy.
Uplift you.
And I'm saying, well, just let me be here. And
that shocked me the first time you said it.
It's so powerful because all I want is for you to be here. That's part of the here and now.
Yeah,
and you don't do it to be mean to me when you say let's go dance.
Right, or I just want you to be happy. I just want you to feel better. It's the otter in me, right? But I love and appreciate what you remind me of is that some people need to be where they are in the here and now.
Yes.
And I needed to be with you in your sadness or in your bitterness about a subject or an issue or something like that.
Or even really the greatness of the here and now is if people get angry with each other.
Oh.
And that's well, let's say somebody, again, I'm talking in a group setting. It could be in a family setting.
Sure.
It could be anywhere, Whitney.
It could be around the Thanksgiving Day table.
Absolutely. When I'm really, really angry, and it's like, okay, well, let's follow through with that. Where's that coming from?
But and what you're saying, am I hearing you correctly, is that then you go back.
Then you go back, right? Then you go back.
But
and
you
say,
start with the here and now.
You start, and then you bring it to the here and now. You go back, but then you're always trying to bring it back to the moment so that I can be real here and see that maybe that anger that I'm coming up with is not so justifiable, that it's old stuff. You know, I always like to remind people of every once in a while, you know, I know you're getting mad at me, but I'm not your father. And I know people will look at a therapist and think parent. I'm not your parent.
And what's the reaction?
The reaction is like, wow, that's right. Because we start seeing people in that light. We start seeing, or you know, you remind me of so-and-so, or you remind, well, that's really insulting, by the way, when you think about it.
Okay.
It can be very insulting, because nobody wants to be reminded of.
They want to be.
Everybody wants to be unique, and to be their own person, and to feel important in the
moment.
Here and now, in the moment. It's just a wonderful way to live life, here and now. Where am I? What am I feeling? What am I experiencing? Why am I uncomfortable? You know, if we're at a party or at a setting or at a religious situation, why am I uncomfortable? Right here, right now, I need to get up and go.
Oh, yeah, why do I not want to go?
Why do I feel like I'm trapped here? It's a powerful component of mindfulness, don't you think?
I like it,
And
yes.
it's a relational component, because everybody that we meet has something to teach us, especially those that we are not connecting with.
Right.
And you know we all have them.
Of course.
You know, and there are also many people that don't like me or you, and that's well,
Oh,
not
no,
many.
let's not say that. No, teasing. Of course there are. That's right. That's human
But
nature.
again, but that's okay, because it probably has to do more, again, with their history.
I see.
And the here and now might bring to, okay, well, let's see if we can work through that, because maybe I'm not what you think I am. You know, I have been on occasion called arrogant. It hurts.
Right.
It hurts. You know, and I'm like, that. I don't know where it's coming from. I have strong opinions, I have strong passions, I'm intellectually curious, but I don't try to be better than anybody else.
Yeah.
You know, somebody asked me, by the way, last week, said, I saw someone at the jazz brunch, and they said, tell me about Whitney Van.
Oh.
And I said, what do you mean?
That's a loaded question.
They said, well, is she really genuine?
Oh.
Is she really genuine? I said, she really is genuine. He said, she just comes across that way. And I was thinking to myself, what was going on in him that made him wonder? And all I could think of is he's probably been around disingenuine.
Do you know that's one of the most frequent questions that people will ask other people about me who know that we're friends? You know, not just you, but other people. Is she really that nice, or is she really that genuine? Or is she really, you know, is that really her?
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder why.
Well, you'll never know, because that's because
You're right.
genuineness is well, I shouldn't say you'll never know. Genuineness can be very rare.
Oh.
And you know, we do live in the South, where polite society, and I'm not knocking the South. I'm just saying, to be genuine is not the easiest thing to do in the Southern culture.
Sure. There's a lot of pretending going on.
Yeah, but see, that's what. Back to the here and now. See, when you spend a lot of time with people, you start seeing the genuine.
Yeah.
The reality does come out. Nobody can really fake it that long.
Oh, no,
And
nobody.
that's the other thing about the here and now. You start getting to know people and saying, you know, you weren't talking like that way a few weeks ago. Just a quick story about the here and now. So I may have said it before. A lady in the divorce group I was running once, 12 sessions. On the 12th session, she had a tear.
Oh.
She had a tear.
First tier, 12 sessions?
First tier.
Okay.
And I said to myself, God, what a horrible group experience this was for her. She got nothing out of it. I wasn't in the here and now. I was thinking, what's wrong with her or me, okay? So I go up to her and I say, are you okay? Here and now. She says, that's the first tear I've had in 10 years. That's the here and now.
Thanks, Dr. Nick, as always.
Bye, everyone.
More Weekends with Whitney after this.
I promise to love faithfully.
Atlas Foundation Repair, fixing your foundation problems for more than 30 years while preserving and protecting your trees. Thanks for sharing part of your day with us here on Weekends with Whitney. Hope to see you back here again next week. Until then, we leave you with this.